Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, episode number 22. I'm Bobby Puckett. With me is Kurt the Flash Bennett. We are here in studio after my long week of vacation. It was supposed to be 3 days. It turned into 7 or 8, but back in the house. How we doing, Flash?
We're doing good.
This week's show being brought to you by Speed Decals, Walt at Speed Decals. Thanks for helping out the show. We say this each and every week, help the people that help us. So if you got any type of vinyl needs whatsoever, reach out to Walt at Speed Decals. If my voice sounds a little raspy, let's just say that for the last week I've had no sleep whatsoever, living on Vegas time / West Coast time. And a big shout out, a big thank you to this week's guest. He doesn't like the nickname, but I told him we got to put it out there anyways because that's what he's known by. But this is what you guys been asking for, the old racetrack segment. And this week's guest is the Hitman, Tony Anderson. Big thank you to Tony for working around my schedule because we were supposed to do this interview last week. Some things came up and little inside baseball. We did it last night, super late when I got in from the plane. So Tony opened up the shop, and Kurt wasn't able to make it over with me.
Apologize for that, but
we made it happen. The next episode is out, so that's what we're doing. But on this week's show, we're going to talk about my Vegas trip, obviously, that turned into the Gilligan Islands tour.
Yeah.
Speed Weeks is finally over, almost, not quite yet. Some race cancellations, and we did have some racing going on this week in the South. Kurt Racing USA had their $10,000 to win late model race and the USCS sprint cars. And then out west, the USAC CRA opened their season up. So plenty to talk about. Before we get started, going into race results and everything, talk about Flash, how was your week?
It was good. I was busy too because with all the flooding and stuff, where my garage is at, it's about the lowest place in Clarksville. So it's the first thing that floods in Clarksville if the pumps don't kick on to keep it pumped out. But luckily they kept them all going, and I didn't have to move everything again like I've had 2, 3, or 4 times.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy weather. So
yeah,
back last week when we were leaving for Vegas, I've got 2 or 3 race cars in my garage right now that I'm trying to finish, and so I'm working, and I almost had to call Flash in for backup.
Well, I tried to get here, but I couldn't even get here.
Yeah, so I'm working in the garage, and shout out to Greg Lynn. He happened to be dropping parts off for his car, but thank you for helping me get everything on higher ground.
Yeah.
The garage decided that it was time to clean the floors out. I haven't done a very good job at it. Mother Nature took care of it for us. So this is like 11 o'clock on the night that I'm leaving the next morning at like 4 a.m. So at 11 o'clock, the garage floods. So Greg helps me get everything up in the air. Everything's good to go. Then I go down the street and make sure Dave, my neighbor's good. And Chris Harmon's race shop was about flooded. The boys were getting the trailers and stuff full. We had water flow in over here here in Brooks, Kentucky. It was I
was in Shepherdsville, and I come in off from at the Brooks exit, come down that way, and almost didn't make it to the railroad tracks. And I got to the other side of the railroad tracks and had to drive through water all the way up to the doors. And I had my mom with me. And when we got up here at the end, it was just too much to try to take her. I wasn't going to take a chance on taking her through there. So. When
you called me, I was like, Flash, I don't think you're going to be able to get here. He's like, well, I'll come help you move the stuff. I was like, I'm pretty sure the road's about 3 foot deep. So,
yeah, it was.
But all worked out. All's well. Nothing tore up too bad here. But we get up at 4 because we're supposed to be leaving at 6 in the morning. I got 5 cars that are going to meet us here because there's 9 of us going to Vegas. And I have 5 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So in the 4 hours of sleep that I got, we had 3 to 4 inches of water in the garage, and my sidewalk was flooded when I went to bed. And when I woke up, I had snow. So that was my week. That's how it started.
Night there, yeah.
That's how it started off. So I shoveled all the driveways so everybody had a place to park, and then my dumbass parked Tanya's car over beside the garage, which was great, except for It apparently got about 60 degrees yesterday before we got home.
Yeah.
It was buried in the mud. So,
Yeah, it did get warmer yesterday. Yeah.
yeah, so that was how my week started. So all is well. We go to Vegas, celebrate my wife's birthday, have a good time. Wednesday, we're going to, first off in Vegas, Flash, first time in many times I've been to Vegas and casinos, I actually come out ahead.
Yeah.
Like really ahead.
Yeah.
For a moment. But yeah, so we Wednesday we get up, we're supposed to be flying back. Actually we got the email Tuesday night that expect delays on our flight.
Right.
So we kind of started looking and was like, well, if something happens, we can go here and get back. Well, Wednesday we got up and apparently Louisville got snow again. And flights were canceled. So this whole big remenage, we can get you out Thursday on standby, or Friday you can fly to, I don't even know where the connection was.
Yeah.
We can get you from here to there, and then it'd be on standby, or Saturday morning you get a direct flight.
Yeah.
So we chose Saturday morning because I didn't want to spend the whole day at the airport and not guarantee to get home.
Right.
So we just we chose Saturday morning. So we rented a car and left Vegas and took a West Coast swing of our own.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite the USAC West Coast swing, but we went down to Venice Beach and down to Santa Monica and spent a day. Actually, spent 2 days. Hell. We spent 2 days there. Then we went up to Sequoia Trees and up in Northern California, and
Yeah.
it was a good time. Minus the speeding ticket that I got.
That's what I said. You did some racing on the way.
Well, yeah. So my wife's all right. So she tells me to slow down, like probably 45 times from Vegas to California.
Yeah.
Well, we're in California. She don't really got to tell me to slow down because we're in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yeah.
Once we get out of Los Angeles area, she tells me to slow down about 5 more times. Okay, great. Because I'm not listening. I had cruise set on about 85 for a while. Well, we're going through one of the 1900 valleys out there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these 2 cats in front of me lock their brakes up. I just bounce over in the left lane. They locked their brakes up because they were about to run over the state trooper. I passed him. At this time, I picked up speed. I'm about 94 when I rode past him. And he pulls me over. Pretty cool dude, really. But, Flash, did you know that if you get pulled over, it's against the law to pull to the left?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
And neither did I.
Yeah.
He proceeded to tell me.
Yeah.
And I had a legitimate bitch about this, and so we talked about it. And I made him laugh, and he reduced my speed a little bit because of it. But so there's the expressway's 4 lanes wide, right? The right lane is right against the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's no median. The left lane has 30 feet of median.
Yeah.
So I pull over in the left lane. I slow down, pull over, in the left median, off to the road. He comes straight up to me. I see your license, blah, 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 like always. I'm experienced in getting pulled over. So,
yeah.
I know the routine. So I gave him my license and stuff. And he goes, well, I stopped you, but you got 2 violations. I said, 2?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, damn, I'm going to get a reckless driving because I was going so fast.
Yeah.
And he goes, he said, no, you can't pull over to the left in California. It's dangerous. I looked at him and turned and looked to the right. I said, would you rather me park against the wall and you stand in the road?
Yeah.
He looks over and he goes, well, I see what you mean, but, California state law. I said, well, that's idiotic. Why would I do that? So he's kind of about half chuckling. So he comes back and this whole time, Tanya's telling me, see, I told you to slow down. I told you to slow down. I said, well, you didn't tell me to slow down when everybody hit their brakes because the damn cop was there.
Yeah.
Because she was probably on her phone on Facebook posting the 9,000 pictures that we took.
Yeah.
But so he comes back up, super cool dude, Manuel. This is figure it's California. He's like, Manuel.
Yeah.
He goes, so I'll tell you what we're gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna knock your speed down just a little bit. This whole time I think I'm only doing about 85 anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm not arguing with him because I mean, what am I going to tell him?
Yeah.
Regardless, the speed limit's 60, so it don't matter. So, you know, I'm like 90, 80. What difference does it make? You know, because. But funny thing is, he tells me, he goes, well, next time, you know, you get stopped in California, make sure you pull to the right. And I said, even if the right doesn't have an emergency lane? He's like, well, you know, I'm going to let you slide on this one. He said, but this is a major violation because we've had guys get killed in the medians. And I said, oh, okay, I get it. And I said, but to me, it seems like you get better chance of getting killed standing on the interstate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So he starts chuckling and he goes, so I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to speed up and put your turn signal on and follow my lights and I'll get over. I said, so now you're telling me to speed.
Yeah.
Manuel's got a good sense of humor. He just starts laughing. He goes, I mean, I don't mean like speed. I mean like speed up. He goes, and next time you don't got to get over as soon as somebody pulls you over. He said, because the rate of speed you're going, you'll probably be pulled over in California again. At the next time you get pulled over, you know, just gradually get to the right until it's an open spot. And I looked at him, I said, Manuel, I played Grand Theft Auto. I was not trying to get 3 stars. I did not want you guys chasing me. He started laughing, and we had a good time. And we pull off, and my wife goes, you play too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? But the funniest thing about the whole thing, so he hands me you don't get paper tickets. Well, he gives you a print off, but it's all done on an iPad.
Right.
So he's like, you need to sign this, and, you know, it's not admitting guilt. I said, what the hell you mean it's not admitting guilt? I just passed you doing 90. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm guilty. So, but Manuel was a pretty cool dude. Not cool enough to get out, you know, to bump my ticket down to like 10 over or anything. But he did bump it down to 25 over. So, but Manuel goes, I said, I got a question, Manuel. How much is this going to be? He goes, amigo, I don't know. The courts, they look at the case and they send you the ticket. They decide. It's like 3 tiers. I said, so I'm guessing I'm in the tier 3, Manuel. He goes, you was going to be in tier 3, but I moved you down to tier 2. I was like, sweet. That probably saved me a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
But, so it's what it is, though. I probably shouldn't have been speeding, but in my defense, my co-pilot / lookout partner wasn't really looking out. She looked out for me for 1,244 miles.
Yeah.
But the 1,245th mile, she just doing something else.
Yeah.
So, but that's how my trip went. We got back to Vegas and all is well. So all the money that I made in Vegas on the first trip, I didn't lose no money when we got back to Vegas to leave. But I'm pretty sure between hotels, fuel, and the extra stay, and Manuel's toll road. I'm pretty sure I did not really come out ahead in Vegas like I did before I left. But all is well. So that's how my Vegas trip went. Super good time. You know, one thing I do know, Flash, if you're traveling with 9 people to a pretty busy area, it's hard to get like places to eat. I mean, it's hard. Yeah. I mean, so we all kind of had to disperse as we ate and then come back, but that was fun. But it was a fun trip.
Hey, but you got to go to In-N-Out Burger though. Yeah,
we went to In-N-Out Burger twice.
Yeah.
Almost went to Whataburger too, but
they say it's really good.
I love Whataburger.
Yeah.
I actually like it better than In-N-Out.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go burger chain thing here, Whataburger is
let's talk about this since I started keto this week.
Yeah, well, I screwed the name up. I think it's What a Burger.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've got that slang. It's
that's what I call it too, Whataburger.
So I'm sure Chase is going to...
Whataburger, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's...
whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm sure Chase is going to send me a text again and says, hey, you screwed that up again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not no English professor.
Yeah.
But let's get on to race deal. There were some race cancellations this weekend. The Tulip Bowl got canceled. Kind of probably figured that was going to happen by looking at the weather forecast. It is rescheduled, though, for this upcoming weekend, the 28th and the 1st. The sprint car race that we talked about in Pennsylvania was rescheduled till today because they...
Which is Sunday.
Which is Sunday, yeah. We're recording this Sunday because we're behind on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But, so you guys hear this tonight, possibly, if the computer and everything works well.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got a thing right now. It's almost time to restart. Leave your device plugged in.
Yeah.
So, you may or may not get this. So it's let's go ahead and cancel out on that. Okay, but you may or may not get this tonight, so we'll see. But USCS Sprints and the USAC CRA and Curry Racing USA did get some races in. The USAC CRA Sprints was at Mojave. Here, I'm screwing this up again. I hate
Mojave.
Yeah,
I think
Mojave.
we've done this before.
Yeah, it's almost like a repeat of like 10 shows ago.
Yeah.
But I cannot pronounce the damn racetrack to save my life. Mojave Valley, Arizona. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Which Flash, I almost went to this race.
Yeah.
Because it was originally scheduled for Friday, but they had a sandstorm.
Yeah.
But I almost made the 4-hour drive over there from Vegas. But our flight left Saturday when this was going on. But Jake Swanson took the win over Kevin Thomas Jr. and R.J. Johnson. This was not streamed anywhere. I looked around and I asked and pulled some more favors. I tell you what, I'm going to have to... I'm burning up one of our favors pretty hard.
Yeah.
I need to, he's going to tell me to find another resource before it's over with.
Yeah.
But Kevin Thomas Jr. took the lead, and he led about 15 laps. Jake Swanson got by him. They traded the sliders 2 or 3 times, and Swanson went on to take the win.
Yeah.
Pretty good field of cars, 33 cars. I think Ricky Lewis had problems. Didn't even get to qualify. Had problems on hot laps and put him back for the night.
Yeah. He's having a rough start to the year.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Well,
it'll get better.
Well, that's I talked to him. I talked to Ricky Lewis the other night, and that's pretty much what I told him. I said, "Dude, after last year's everything went right, you're gonna have a year where not everything goes so smooth."
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Oh
So,
yeah. Plenty. I've had plenty of years like that.
yeah.
Had some years you can't do nothing wrong, and some years nothing goes right.
Yeah,
So,
been down that road myself, buddy. So, but pretty good show. I think it was a little cool out there for them. It got pretty cool in the desert. But the weather when we was in Vegas, the weather was nice. It was, 65 the whole time.
Yeah.
Nights it dropped down to 60.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was it was nice. One night it was a little chilly, but that's part of it.
You got plenty of places to walk in and warm up there.
Yeah.
They take your money when you walk in there, but
Yeah. I rode the roller coaster at New York this time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's pretty. I thought it was gonna be kind of cheesy, and then I was really pissed off because they don't tell you the wait.
Oh yeah.
Like you get the ticket at the bottom, and I get up there. It's like an hour and a half wait,
Oh man.
and we just paid $40 to ride this roller coaster. Me and Tanya's cousin and her little brother. Everybody else is down gambling, eating, having a good time. So I'm standing in line with a bunch of 12 and 13-year-old kids that are, and I about beat this one kid up.
Yeah.
So they got a fast pass. You can buy an armband for an extra $10.
Right.
If I knew that was all it was, that's what I would have did. So we could just walk on the damn ride.
Right.
So you get off, you get on, you get off, you get on. This one little punk, he rode the roller coaster 6 times before I got up there.
Yeah.
Because of his fast pass. I told him, he came back by. I said, "You get on this damn coaster one more time, dude, I'm breaking your nose." But the fast pass, so the coaster seats like 25 people.
Yeah.
Well, 15 of it's reserved for the fast pass, so they can just boom get right on. So we're going 10 at a time. There's about 7,444 people in front of me.
Yeah.
10 at a time. So, surprisingly, it was a really good roller coaster.
Yeah.
Hats off to New York. The roller coaster was pretty badass. I didn't think it was going to be because you see it in the daylight, and it was like midnight when we rode it, so you got to see all the lights and everything. But you see it in the daylight, it don't really look all that impressive.
Does it go inside and outside?
Yes, it goes inside
That's
and
what
outside.
I thought that was the one.
Well, that's why, because I've seen it, and I was like, man, I don't pay $40. Right? It's a pretty damn long roller coaster because it goes inside the building, and it's pretty neat. But so New York, I would say was pretty cool. Pretty cool roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot. Hold on a second. One more thing about Vegas. We rented a stripper van.
Oh yeah.
Without the strippers, because we had to get 9 of us to Fremont Street. So it was cheaper to rent this party van. So we got on a party van and went to Fremont Street. So I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. So my wife's cousin, her sister was supposed to come, and she had something going on with the family, so she couldn't come. So she invited one of her nursing friends that she did travel nursing with. Girl's name was Rachel. Super sweet girl. But Rachel is really, really conservative.
Oh, yeah.
Really conservative. Me, not so much.
Yeah.
Rachel because because I was kind of teasing with her and talking to her and, you know, asked her what kind of music, because we get in the stripper van and, you know, they give you the iPad and you can play the music and it's strobe lights. Rachel's never been in no club or nothing. This is right here is the biggest club she's ever been to. So I asked her, what kind of music you want to listen to? And Rachel, she's young. She's like 30. She goes, I like listening to Elvis in my spare time. I said, do what? She's like, I don't really listen to a whole lot of music, but my family grew up on Elvis. We was Elvis babies. I was like, oh, okay. So you know me, I play Too Short. Yeah. So I played some Too Short for her, and Rachel had a good time. But Rachel don't drink. Yeah. And neither does Bobby. But the rest of the crew does. A lot. We're on Fremont Street, and Rachel...
She's on Fremont Street. She ain't seen that stuff either.
Yeah. So Rachel, she gets a Crown and Coke, and
that's a good starter.
Well, if you buy a drink on Fremont Street, it's a BOGO for the shots. Yeah. So she got 2 Crowns and a little Coke. Yeah. Rachel was hammered. We're really hammered. Like, so I'm over here, my fat ass is going to the donut shop, the Pink Box Donuts, and Rachel goes, let's do shots. I'm like, no, we are not doing shots. But so I've never seen Rachel, and Kimmy said she's never seen Rachel drunk before. I was like, well, Rachel is hammered, but it was all because nobody wanted to go eat. So I think she was like, well, piss on it, I'm getting drunk. Yeah. So not only did Rachel get hammered, we had to go to get some food afterwards. Yeah. So we went to this pizza place, and pizza and beer, little much for some people, but she didn't get sick, but boy, when she crashed hard. She was not doing, and another thing too, Rachel only weighs about 71 pounds anyways. Yeah. So, but it was a fun time. It really was. Yeah. It was a really good time. But back on to why you guys tuned in. The Henry County Speedway in Clareston, Florida, had the Kart Racing USA Swamp Cabbage 100. Yeah. 177 cars signed in 4 divisions. Man. Which was pretty good for a racetrack that has been kind of struggling a little bit. But they had 32 late models, and the Magic Man, Mark Wagner, started 3rd and took the win. And second was the greatest name in all of racing. Pearson Lee Williams ran 2nd. Yeah. And Nevin Gainey rounded out to the top 3. Racetrack was pretty racy. It was on Kart Racing USA TV, so I checked it out. It was around the bottom, basically, but somebody forgot to tell Brendan Smith that you can't pass up in the sand fluff. Oh, yeah. He started 20th and ran 4th. Man. Really good run. He was kind of backing the car in like a sprint car line, and because you had to kind of go in straight the way the track was. Then he went in all bound up and then drove down, Yeah. So he really wasn't running the top. He was gaining speed on the top. Yeah. And turning under them as they pushed up off the turns.
Up underneath them.
But it was a good run to him. And Southern Raceway, this was on Hunt the Front TV. I seen the highlights from this. We had USCS sprints and IMCA mods. I think they had about 3,000 other divisions too.
Yeah. Joyner running the mods?
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. I thought I seen his name.
Both Joyners ran. Yeah. Jonathan Joyner, I think he started like 16th or 17th and ran 3rd or 4th. He passed 16 cars or something. Yeah. But Chris Spalding out of Missouri, he runs a lot of B-Mod stuff in Missouri. He picked up the win, getting ready for the Clash at the Coast. And I know we don't talk about pavement racing a whole lot, but there was non-wing sprint cars at Showtime Speedway. And the main reason I want to talk about this is because Cody Swanson took the win, started 7th and took the win. So both Swanson brothers, one in Arizona, one in Florida, both took the win on the same night. So that's pretty cool. The slaughter of the week is going to go to the Swanson brothers. 2 different disciplines, which Cody is a pavement specialist. He is, but Cody Swanson took the win and started 7th. I think they had 18 cars, so pretty good field of non-wing sprint cars, pavement sprint cars in Florida. Yeah. Besides that, that's just about it. We got some upcoming Well, we'll go ahead and do the upcoming stuff now, and then we'll do the closeout. Upcoming this weekend, Clarksville has a Total Bowl makeup. So Friday and Saturday, I think it's $3,000 to win on Friday and 10 or maybe 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Something like that. But the Total Bowl makeup will be Friday and Saturday, which I think the weather's supposed to be nice this weekend.
Yeah.
But if the weather's not so good, and you still want to check some racing out, it's not too far from our area. DeQuoin, Illinois, the Southern Illinois Center, they have micro sprints. It's the Midwest Micro Throwdown or something.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm screwing the name up, but they're running Friday and Saturday, and the micro sprints inside on the little 8th mile is really, really racy. It's a real good event, and I think RTJ is going to go out there and run that too. So there's going to be, I think Steven Snyder, I seen where Snyder's going to be there. So there's some big names going to sling mud in the DeQuoin Center.
Yep.
And then the big one in our area, the Midwest opener, Brownstown Speedway, is opening up March 1st.
Yeah.
So shout out to Price and them at Brownstown for taking a gamble on this. So I hope people in the area show up and support it, because Northern All-Star late models and mods are going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's the first time in a year that UMP Modifieds will be back at Brownstown. Expecting a huge car count for this. I think late models are paying $10,000 to win. Mods are $1,500.
Yeah. So it should be a good show.
So it's gonna be a good show. I think they're only running 4 divisions. So when Brownstown starts early enough that I think the weather's supposed to be in the 50s.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun trip at Brownstown this weekend. That's where I plan on going this weekend. I plan on hitting up Brownstown Speedway. The Midwest opener, and besides, if anybody knows Brownstown in March, you get all the Illinois and Michigan guys.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say we have 40 super late models, and I'm going to say 50 modifieds for this event.
Yeah.
Just because James Essex is a good dude, and everybody likes supporting James. And I think this event's going to be something that's going to be special over the next few years. Doing the Midwest opener. So
yeah.
That's the upcoming events this week.
Plus, everybody's gonna be tuning up for the icebreaker too. So you're gonna have.
And the icebreaker's paying $25,000 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I'm looking at least 40 cars, I'd say, for the late models.
Yeah, I think we'll have 40 super late models in the house. And a lot of people. I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna make people mad, but the icebreaker and the early races in March are better than the Jackson 100 weekend.
Oh yeah, I think so.
It could just be because you're ready to get back to the racetrack.
Yeah.
But when Brownstown has a little character, it races really good.
Oh yeah.
So and looking out in my front yard, I'm gonna say it's gonna have some character.
You know how Brownstown would race really good?
With a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention it every time.
Yeah, me too. Every time we talk about Brownstown, we're going to talk about that. But I'm just going to put it to you this way, Flash. I've seen Brownstown do some fence repair.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get a wall this week.
Yeah, no.
I don't think they're going to get one up this week.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Maybe if they started on it this week, next year's Midwest opener, we might have it.
Right.
But that's our plans for this weekend. We're going to head up to Brownstown, and if the weather's good and we're talking about that racing road trip everybody wants to talk about, reach out to me and we'll all caravan up there and mark off a seat in the bleachers and eat a bunch of sloppy joes and have fun at Brownstown. So that's the plan for this week. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the guy that don't like to be called the Hitman, but Tony the Hitman Anderson. It's time for the Trading Sliders Deep Dives presented by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. Let's take a trip down memory lane with the old racetrack segment.
We were there every Friday night when we were kids. We would sing along to We Will Rock You as they pulled out of the pits. Did you pull for Blackwell or Harmon? Did you go just to see some carnage? Yeah, I still smile every time that I look back on it at the old racetrack. This week's Deep Dives, we have...
I'm gonna put it out there. He's not real crazy about this name, but it is the Hitman, Tony Anderson. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, man. Thanks for being accommodating because, my schedule this week was a little bit helter-kelter. I was all over the place, and Tony said, man, whatever we got to do, because I'm a little inside baseball before we get started. I always kind of just let everybody know what's going on. I had a travel nightmare this week, which turned into a positive. So Tony's leaving next week to go out of town. We've been talking about doing this interview for a while. And I said, Tony, I told you that I would get you this week, but I'm not going to be in until late. And he said, whatever, man. We live a few miles apart, so come on over. So thank you very much for working around my schedule.
No problem.
Because usually I'm the guy that's got to work around everybody else's schedule, but I really do appreciate it. One thing I want to talk about, it's funny, like we started and, you're not a real big fan of the name, the Hitman.
No, that's not something I voted for, but it fit at the time, I guess.
Well, see, here's what I'm going to say is, because to kids that grew up in our area, I say kids as in me, but I was a little bit older than the other generation, but for kids in our area, everybody had a nickname. I always thought the Hitman was pretty badass for somebody who don't like it.
Well, it goes back to wrestling. My kids watch wrestling, and Rob Daly, that used to help me, he's all big into wrestling, and so that's how the name come about.
So you was definitely a Bret Hart fan instead of Shawn Michaels or something?
No, I was a Stone Cold fan.
Okay, so new nickname, Stone Cold Tony Anderson. So, Tony, we're doing the old racetrack segment where we talk to guys that raced previous before us, and it's kind of turned into the old figure eight segment because, hell, my dad was a figure eight racer. I was a figure eight racer, so I'm kind of just talking to everybody I grew up with. Why figure eight?
It was just more exciting and more big races, and it paid more money than oval. I started out racing oval at the fairgrounds when your dad raced there.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I don't know, after you run oval a little bit, it just wasn't exciting. And then there's more, like say, more bigger races for figure eights. And so then, I always liked the figure eight, but so I think I run oval for 2, maybe 3 years, and then I switched to figure eight.
All right, so for all the dirt guys that don't know, because I've had some people give me some flack saying, man, I really like your old racetrack segment, but I don't even know these guys. I said, well, that's the reason why we're doing it, because if there's not many people in California that knows, what was going on in the figure eight hotbed here in the 90s. But in the same token, there's a lot of guys like yourself that follow along with the show have no idea who some of these other guys are.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we're doing this, but I'm going to put this out there. The very first winner of the World 300 at Louisville Motor Speedway.
Yep.
Third all time on the LMS, wins list. First guy to win all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. Not in the same year, but
Right.
First guy to win all 3 legs. 2 track championships at the Sportsdrome Speedway. Outlaw Championship in '99. Street Stock Championship in '01. A couple top 5s in the 2-hour or in the 3-hour. A couple 2-hour wins. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. All those years of racing and all the sacrifices. I know how much sacrifice goes into racing. Is there a time now, because I know you concentrate on all your grandkids, how did you know it was time to quit?
I just didn't love it no more. I mean, it just worked, it was still fun to race. I still like racing to watch it. I don't go to the races, but it just got to where it just wasn't fun working on it, it just wasn't exciting. And I can't say that if I won a race, it wouldn't be exciting, but the last few years of racing, I just tried to concentrate to win a 3-hour. That's the only thing I haven't won was a 3-hour. So if I'd won that, I've been pretty damn excited,
Yeah.
But just, I don't know, it just kind of come to me. Then I had Jeff Ruby, I seen him somewhere, and he asked me the same thing. He said, man, how did you quit racing? And I told him the same thing, I just didn't love it no more. It just wasn't time to go do something else, and I got 10 grandkids, and got 2 of them plays basketball. We're pretty big into that, and so just time to move on.
Well, see, that's one thing. A lot of people don't know this, about you. You spend your weekends in the gym like every weekend now. For the basketball tournaments.
Yep.
I ran into Tony last year. He was yelling at me because I was officiating. He told me, "Hey, get your shit together, man." So how does that transition happen? Because I know how it happened for me. When I was done, I was just done. But I wasn't one that said, I'm not going to the races, because I was always a fan. I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed racing, but I enjoyed just being at the racetrack hanging out more than I did working on shit, for sure. And it's funny, you said you just kind of burned out a little bit as we're sitting here in the body shop and he's still working on cars every day.
Yeah. Well, I still had an outlaw car, the old Pike car I had, and I didn't run 1 3R. So me and my wife and one of my wife's friends went that had never been to the races. I said, well, hell, we'll just go watch, Well, I ended up buying the car that won the 3R. and then I raced for 3 more years after that, I think. I bought Fred Bear's car when he won. And then, so I raced that. And then Kerry Trowbridge got the deal to build the last car that we built. And then he sold it. We never did get to race it. It was best of everything, but David Noble's got it now, and been offered to drive it and a couple others, but if my heart ain't in it, there's no sense in me wasting my time and anybody else's time to go race.
Well, that's funny, not funny, but the way you said that, if your heart's not in it, and when it was time for me to quit, I was the same way. I was just like, we're on the road and I'm coaching basketball and I'm doing this. I said, I don't really care if I don't race, and I got people ask me all the time, like, how do you just quit? I'm like, well, it's just simple. I left the damn car in the trailer and didn't go back.
We didn't go to race just to race. We went to race to win the race. And every time we went to a racetrack, we expected to win. So, and I didn't want to go out just spinning my wheels, just going out there riding around. So that's just how it ended up. And I'm fine with it. I didn't win the 3R, won everything else, but I'm going to live the rest of my life without a 3R win, but I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and it's funny you say that, because, I talked to Chris about this before, off air, just, driving down the road, and I said, when it's all over and done with, all you got's the memories anyways. Does it really matter if you didn't win it? I mean,
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference to your grandkids that are, glad Papaw's at the basketball game.
Yep, they don't even know about it.
They don't care. They don't even know what that race is. They don't care. I mean, they just want to know if you're going to Mr. Gaddy's afterwards.
And I'm still a competitive person. I got an 11-year-old granddaughter that is, I'm pretty sure, the #1 point guard, 6th grade point guard out here in this area. And she plays on 2 travel teams, school and the E-Town League. And I'm always on her, do your best, do your best. Why does it matter? Because I want you to win.
Well,
That's why I come here to win. I don't come here just for you, but, and it's funny, they don't understand that. And I got a 9-year-old grandson that's pretty good too, so. But he's like me. He's competitive. No matter what we're doing, he's competitive.
Well, I'm glad you said competitive, because a lot of people that listen to this show, out in the country, they don't understand how competitive our figure 8 division was back in the 90s and early 2000s, with guys like yourself and Chris Harmon and Calvin Crane and Raymond Johnson and Roger Vincent. I mean, the list goes on and on. How tough was it to win at Louisville in Sportsdrome?
Anybody could win at any night. That's how it was. Just, you never knew who was going to win. And that's what me and Rick Irwin talked about that. I think we raced at the best time for racing around here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was more competitive, and I don't know, I wouldn't say more fun. Anywhere you race is fun, but just so many people could win on any given night.
Well, that's when Louisville was first built, like my dad and Blackwell and Barnes, when those guys were like, every night I'm thinking, like, how in the hell do these guys, they're starting on the tail every week with 30 cars and 25 laps and racing for the win.
Yep.
But it steadily got better and better and better until the track closed down. I was just like, man, every week it's somebody else. And then, you had, it's funny, you call Artie the kid, but you had, young guys. Now Artie's old ass.
I've known Artie since he's 5 years old. He actually is my ex-brother-in-law.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, then you had the younger guys come in, and it's just, it was just so much talent that brewed in our area. And one thing I want to say about that is, you know, we were talking off air about Huey Darnell and you know, Pike and, you know, our figure eight guys, because figure eights has always been the sideshow. You know, it's been rough, tumble, beating, banging, and some people say it's not real racing. I can't say that because we had real race cars and real race car drivers.
Yeah,
it wasn't a sideshow. You know,
yeah, they didn't race if they don't think it was real racing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying because, you know, you guys had really nice race cars. You know, guys like Huey and them, they built, you know, race cars. And it's funny that the way you guys progressed, because everybody had nice stuff, but it was always kind of like, hey, you see Tony's stuff? What's your paint body, guy? So, I mean, it is a little, but man, your race cars are always clean, you know, nice. I mean, you took so much pride in your work.
Yeah. I just always liked, going back from a kid, you know, Lamar Marshall had good-looking cars. Rick Irwin, when I started racing at Fairgrounds, Rick Irwin had a nice Chevelle, and I just always liked good-looking stuff like that, which kind of started a trend when we started putting them in the car show and stuff. Then I got Taylor's House Color for a sponsor, and I had to put it in the car show, and it had to look good.
Yeah,
but
well, he's putting on the damn show. It better look good.
Yeah, but I just always liked neat stuff, you know. And I still do. I'm still a car guy, you know. I just don't go out and beat them up no more.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're getting a little older now. I mean,
Yeah.
shit, if you go out and tear a fender off now, you just stick to your stomach because you know how much Bondo work is in. Back then, you hammer it out and, you know, we'll get another one. Raymond's got plenty over here. We'll take one of his.
Yeah.
So as I'm doing these interviews, it's funny because there's always been, like, rivalries. I don't ever remember. I remember you and Chris a little bit, you and Raymond a little bit, but it wasn't like hateful. It was just, you know, good competitive competition.
Yeah, I tried to get along with everybody, really, you know, and didn't want to tear my car up because I had to pay for fix it, you know. So, but and you know, even though we had our spats and stuff, hell, we was just everybody's there for the same thing, you know. Like Chris, you know, we battled a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I got a lot of respect for Chris. I don't see him much, but, you know, as you get older, you look back, you know, I mean, it was still good times, even though we battled, you know. But
Well, that's something that as I'm getting older, I find myself doing that. Like, I'm glad I didn't race in the Facebook era. Because I see this shit going on, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'd put a clip on every week.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't race in the Facebook era. But to me, it just seems so different back then. I guess that's just us being older. Because, you know, hell, like, you asked me how me and Kurt started running around together. I put him in the U-tire. What? That's how we become friends. Because there was no Facebook for us to bitch about it for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we laughed about it and went on.
we settled it that night and then become lifelong friends.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk to you about, because you drove for car owners, you drove for yourself. How tough is it to drive for somebody else? Because I've always turned that down. How tough is that to drive for somebody else?
For me, it was real tough because I never had no luck. I started out in Louisville with my own car in '88. 1990, I drove for some guys. I won the 100-lapper at Louisville on Friday night. I won at Sportsdrome on Saturday night. And I went to Whitesville on Sunday and run second. I got fired.
Well,
and running third in points at Louisville. So we had to build a car in a week. Then went on Kerry Trowbridge. I didn't even know Kerry. My little brother and Mark Jeffries, another boy that helped me, did. Every time I seen Kerry, he said, I'm going to build you an outlaw car. I'm going to build you an outlaw car. I said, okay. Well, he built me an outlaw car, or bought one, and we changed it to an outlaw car. It's old late model. Drove it for a little bit. Next year, we got a car. In the car shows, race season started. I got fired. I didn't get to drive it. So then, go on. I get my own cars, race. The rest of the time, I said, I won't drive for nobody else. I always just have my own cars. Then I quit racing. I think it was 2019 when I got a call that I want to run outlaw. And it was with Kerry. And we built,
he was going to make good on his dude.
and we built that, which, I mean, we was friends, you know, we was friends, but as a kind of, you know, same thing. We had problems, but looking back here, we're grown up. We was friends. But, and I had a lot of people tell me don't do it, you know. We built a top-notch car, and we never did race it. But his health was bad and stuff, and, you know, now he's gone, and that, looking back, you know, hell, it's just bad times, and I wouldn't change none of it.
Well, a lot of time, you know, it's always part of the journey. I tell people that all the time. You know, I quit racing at the time. I was probably in my prime, but we had other shit come up that we had to take care of.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just part of it. Looking back, I'm like, man, I probably had another 2 or 3 really good years in me, but, you know, we also had shit that we had to do, you know, as grown-ups. So we had to do it. One thing, you know, you always had your brother with you helping you. It was always a family thing. How much did it actually mean to you? Because going to the racetrack, because you was always hanging out with your same people.
Oh, yeah. That, you know, it's funny because when he was younger, he wasn't even interested in it. I tried to get him to help me, and he wouldn't. Man, when he'd come up with some stuff, and that's when we started winning, you know. But he's pretty sharp on these cars, and we like him and Tony Darnell. We probably had a little bit of advantage. They come up with some row center computer app thing and set the car up, and he said, you just drive it, and so we had a little advantage there. And then we started testing some shocks for Bilstein and stuff, and then we was a little ahead of them on shocks for a while. And
don't be telling everybody that.
Well, time's passed now, so they can't do that now. Which they wasn't cheater shocks, they was legal, but they was just a little better. And then that was from Dale Baum, got me that deal. He helped us a lot, and man, I had a lot of help from a lot of people. Huey, Dale Baum, Terry Elmore. I'd just go over and buy something, and he'd start talking and tell me stuff.
It's funny you said that, because I've always said those 3 names, Huey, Dale Baum, and Terry Elmore, have helped me. Besides my dad, I mean, my dad taught me everything I know, but guys that had no vested interest in me whatsoever helped me more, not only in driving and understanding, preparing, prepping, building. You know, for the damn longest time, I didn't know you could put pipe rivets in wrong. I didn't know you could screw that up, but Huey showed me where you can. But like Terry Elmore, you mentioned that, and I want to touch on this real quick, because like, I say this on all, like when I'm interviewing people and they talk about guys who help, but Terry Elmore is a guy that if Terry Elmore liked you, he helped you to the moon and back.
Yep.
If he didn't like you, he wouldn't even sell you parts hanging on his wall.
Or wouldn't he talk to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just full of knowledge. He just, you could ask that man anything, and he would tell you, you know. And but hell, most time it just started out in conversation. How'd you do? You know, how's this? How's that? And he just would try this, try that. And
yeah, it's funny you said that, because I told Brian not too long ago. I said, Brian, forever I thought your dad didn't know how to count. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'd go over and pay for 5 gallons of fuel, and I'd get 10 every week. He goes, and Brian told me, that's why I didn't ever get no damn fuel. But just so many guys like that in this community in Louisville, Kentucky. You know, what's funny is, to me, looking back on it, you know, you were a South End guy. I was an Edgewood guy. You know, Calvin is a Lexington guy. And we all come together for the same spot. And everybody gets along just fine. It's, you know, it's like the melting pot of figure 8 racing.
Yep. That's one thing for me that was cool, you know, racing at Louisville, is the kids that come up to you after the races and talk to you, you know. And like Chris Workman was a little kid then, and now he races. Jeff Blackwell, I knowed him since he was born. He races. So,
well, hell,
you know,
Josh Logston's number was 42 forever because of you.
He come up talking to me all the time. Then he was Pee-wee, his dad was Pee-wee's grandson or Pee-wee's son. Or
Papa Pee-wee, yeah.
So that, you know, looking back now, that's cool that went on. These kids made it up in racing. And
well, it's funny you say that, because I told Mike Gibson when I interviewed him, I said, Mike, Sportsdrome's not my cup of tea. You know that. You know, we've had this conversation before, but a couple of weeks before I did the interview with Mike, I was at a race and we got rained out, and I go to the Sportsdrome and I walk in and I see my little nephews, and they're playing underneath the bleachers, racing figure 8 around the pose. And, you know, I just sat there, and my wife's like, you okay? I'm like, I don't know. And she's looking at me like, what? I said, you know, I was the person that for all these years said, I don't care if this place closes down. And I'm so glad it didn't, because you see those kids down there racing around those cups? That was me when I was a kid at Charlestown and Fairgrounds and Sportsdrome and Louisville, you know. I said, I guess you just hit a spot in your time of your life where you just look back and you're like, damn, that was cool. Because you didn't realize, because Pat Sullivan once told me, history is what happens right now. And I never thought of it that way. Like, you know, you're living in history. When you look back on it, that's what makes you realize how good it was.
Yeah. It didn't start like that for me, because it started for me at the fairgrounds. My oldest brother was a bat boy for the Louisville Colonels. Well, while we was at the ball game, I was up in the top of the bleachers looking over at the Sportsdrome Speedway trying to watch them race.
So what the hell's this going on over there?
Then after the race, me and my dad, we'd go over and catch the last race. Well, that's when I was younger, and I grew up over Audubon Park on Preston right there. And so when I got older, I'd ride my bike over there, climb over the back wall. Well, I climbed over the back wall with Buddy Bertrees, Pup, Paul Smith. There's a lot of them that, as we got older, we become friends, you know. So I didn't get to play in the bleachers and run around, and then I had a car when I was 15. So that's how it started for me, but then it was hooked ever since.
Well, it's funny. How long did you do it?
35 or 36 years.
Damn, I thought it was like 24, 25.
No, 35 or 36. I quit racing for 5 years. I mean, I already raced dirt bikes for a while. That was after Louisville closed. I raced Sportsdrome in Charlestown a little bit, then I quit in 83 maybe. And then I started racing again in 88 when Louisville opened.
Open back up.
I'm old.
Yeah. He's an old man. So 30 years of racing. You dedicated your life to this sport. To kids out there racing now, because you've been the guy, just like myself, just like my dad. I mean, we've missed weddings, we've missed birthday parties, we've missed, you miss so much. If you got any advice that you could tell to a young kid that's racing, what would you tell them?
Probably just enjoy every bit of it. Give it everything you got. Enjoy it, because, I can't say that I didn't enjoy it, but we went to the racetrack so serious to win, that it probably
took a little bit of
the fun out of it, because I was so serious. I never talked to a lot of people, at the racetrack and afterwards maybe, but just because I took it so serious. I went to win, but probably could have enjoyed it a little more. But
yeah, well, I tell you one thing you did enjoy, though. You enjoyed your car looking good, and I'm pretty sure you might have been the first guy that I called the Brewster Baker truck. I think you was the first guy that had like an old bread truck, box truck.
The cube van.
Yeah, the cube van. That painted up and matched your trailer and your car.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did. I had the black one, then Huey and them got one, and Artie and them got one. I might have been the first.
Yeah, you're the first one that I remember. I'm not saying that's not Stone Cold set. Let's still deliver, but I remember I was like, damn, that's cool. That's figure eight right there. Kind of pump your chest out like that's our figure eight, guys.
Yep.
You go up to the Speedrome and they're drag. Which we had guys drag stuff in with chains too. Don't get me wrong. But
I did that too.
Yeah. So, going forwards, now you're just Papa.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. As you transition in life, do you think any of the grandkids will ever get in a race car?
Probably not. Nah, my kids really didn't want to. My youngest one wanted to race four-wheelers, and I really
There's no cages on them.
kind of wasn't excited about that. Did it a couple times, but I didn't have to tell him no, but he quit on his own.
Yeah.
Thank God. But if I pushed it, they might. Not my grandkids, but maybe my oldest one. But I've never pushed it, because all my kids pretty successful, and so I didn't deter them.
Yeah.
Because if it had started, like for me, it would have ruled their life.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you about advice going forwards, because I see so many kids. Because I go to the races 100 times a year, so I'm not a real good advocate to tell you to, it's okay to miss an event every once in a while, because I go 3 or 4 nights a week every week. But When you've got young kids and you've got, family involved, it's okay if you make your cousin's wedding or, because there's a lot of that stuff that I missed, and I was just like, looking back on it, like, damn, but everybody knew.
I tried to do everything. I had my youngest son play basketball. My middle son, he was a pretty good football player up here at the school. And, I tried to make all that, even in Little League. I mean, he went undefeated and won a championship and stuff. But it was hard. I missed a lot of practices. But the games, I was at most all the games. But, it's just hard to do it all, But but you asked advice for a kid. I'm pretty strong on, if you got a dream, go for it, because there's anything you can do, So if a kid wants to do it, thank God none of my kids or my grandkids had this dream, but you almost have to do it. So
that's where
anything's possible.
Well, that's where I'm at everything, because I always, it's funny. I talked to Erwin about this, and my dad was always just do it. My dad never missed anything. But in the same token, when I got in at 11:30 because we were playing a basketball game in Carroll County, we worked on the race car from 12 to 1:30 because, he went and did my stuff, so I got to do his stuff, which is, I wouldn't have traded that for anything.
No.
Because, my dad, now we got to race together. I got to race with my dad, and that was fun. But as I look back on it, my advice would be, if you really want to do it, better do it. Don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it at all. But on the same token, you also got to remember, when it's all over and done with, all you're going to have is memories and relationships. So build those relationships along the way.
Yeah. That's and it sure makes your life go by quick, though. Blink of eye. But
it'll make an old man out of you quick working on these damn things all night.
That's probably for me the biggest thing that I miss about it, other than friendships. I made a lot of friends, not as many enemies, but it's not hanging around with my little brother and the guys all the time, because we both got different lives outside of racing, but so to where we was together almost every night and all weekend, racing. We raced Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but that's probably the biggest thing I miss about it now.
Well, that's people ask me all the time, what do you miss about it, the most? And I said, honestly, I miss the most about it. I lived next door to my dad. He'd walk over and we'd bullshit for 2 hours and work for 20 minutes. Because like now, we live 20 minutes apart, which isn't terrible. But if I'm working in the garage and I need something, he'll come over and help me, or go help Ricky. But it's not. I lived next door to my dad for 15 years. Hell, I'd walk over to his house and he need help moving something, and it'd be a 4-hour bullshit session. I miss that. But as far as actually racing, I'm still involved in the sport, probably more heavily now than I did when I was racing 80 nights a year with the podcast. And
what you're doing here is cool, and it's good for racing too, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing, but it's not much less work. I'll tell you that. I always thought bullshitting, this part that we're doing is the easy part. All the other stuff that comes along with it, it's a lot more work than I ever thought it would be. It's funny, my wife says, you can't do anything and just do it. I coached basketball, I coached middle school and high school. I was in the gym for, 6 to 8 hours every night. And, now that I do the podcast, I'm announcing, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing rules meetings. I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't really mean for all this to happen. It just did.
And you go on vacation to get stranded, and then just end up going to another state for a few days.
So let's funny. Let's talk about this. So I go to Vegas for my wife's birthday, because most wives get like dinner for their birthday, But my wife, because I go to the racetrack 100 nights a year, if she says, "Hey babe, let's go to Vegas on the week that you have nothing going on," Vegas it is. Whatever you want. So we go to Vegas. Great time. I call home. My dad's like, yeah, weather's going to be bad here. My wife gets a text. Flights canceled, this and that. So what naturally do? We just, all right, we're going to go to L.A. for a couple of days. So it's funny, Tony's like, yeah, I'm leaving to go out of the country. So, we need to do this pretty soon if we're going to do it. I said, well, that sounds like a great idea, but dude, I'm stuck out here on the West Coast.
That's why I told my wife, hell, I hope our flights don't get delayed or canceled. And we're going to be stuck somewhere a long ways away.
Well, here's the thing. When you get stuck somewhere, just go make the best of it.
Yeah.
And try not to get your ass a speeding ticket.
I won't. I'm not driving.
No, okay. Because we flew out, rented a car, and then I became the Uber driver for 2 days. And I got a pretty hefty little speeding ticket in Bakersfield, California. So Kevin Harvick, if for some reason you're listening, or Ethan Dotson, you Bakerfield boys, if you know the state trooper Manuel, help me out here. But all seriousness, though, we travel my wife and I, we travel all the time. We was at the Chili Bowl. I'm very fortunate. I've got a wife that loves racing. Because that's what we did. From her dad raced, my dad raced, we raced. She don't know any difference. We're just going to the races.
Yeah.
The only problem is now it's a lot of times it's 6, 7, 8, 9 hours away instead of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I don't really know how to put it this way. But when you said it's a funny story about Huey, and Huey Darnell was a great car builder, but I want you to tell everybody what you told me about tearing up Huey's garage floor.
Yeah. Well, first car we built at Huey's was when I drove for the twins. We built it up in the front garage. So then the next year we had to build another one, and I didn't have a garage. I lived with my parents at the time. I had got divorced. I lived with my parents. And so we built the car at Huey's and had it in the front garage. And he had other cars to do, so he said, well, Tone, just take it back here in the new garage. I said, oh, no. The floor's all painted red, all brand new. He said, oh, it's okay. Well, 2 days later, I'm changing front springs, and then the A-frame drops and chips the floor. So I had to go tell him, but he was cool about it. And Huey helped a lot, man, and he was great. I don't know, we had a lot of good times. So then we moved out of Huey's, and that's when we got that garage over on 7th Street. And
yeah, Walton Lane, baby.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I promise you there's more race cars that come out of Walton Lane than anybody ever knows about.
Yeah.
Tony had a garage there he raced out of 5 or 6 years?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, then I raced out of that garage for a few years, probably 5 or 6 years. And my dad told me that we've built 409 front-wheel drive cages out of there.
Damn.
So I didn't keep record because to me it was a foggy 4 years.
Yeah, we moved out of there, and then Huey got to where he'd come over all the time and would snoop what we was doing. Like I say, my little brother and Tony had a program, setting the row centers and stuff in these cars, and we had some shops, and Huey always wanted to know, and he started calling us top secret. So then he caught on to the Bilstein deal, and Dale Baum got us hooked up with that, testing them, and they was giving to us. So then we had to go out of town. Kevin Weaver ended up building our shocks, a dirt racer.
Yeah, that's the Fairbury Flash, Kevin Weaver.
Yeah,
that's another. See the nickname thing. Yeah. That's another guy. If you don't mention the Fairbury Flash, you're a loss for words.
Yeah, he started calling us top secret there for a long time. He said, well, the dirt racers tell everybody what they got. I said, well, I like the advantage, so I'm not telling you nothing.
Well, that's funny you say that because I always tease Chris. Chris's son's racing now, and I'm always teasing him because Chris is like, oh, well, I wonder what's going on here. Wonder what they're doing. I said, let's go there and ask them. Oh, no, we don't do that. I'm like, trust me, that son of a bitch will just tell you. You don't care.
Yeah, that's what you said. But
the dirt world is... I wish you would have gave it more of a go, really. I wish you would have, because your driving style, you probably would have been okay on the dirt world because you had real good car control, especially like longer races, the track gets slick. You had to, work it with a pedal, and it wasn't just, the big motor just... Now dirt's kind of advancing where you need a big motor all the time. Because of shocks and stuff, but I really wish you would have gave a dirt go.
Yeah, it'd been fun. I mean, I liked it. I raced Charlestown, but it was in a junk car. It wasn't even a good car to try it on.
But as neat as you keep your race cars, you'd have been pissed. You got to come in and you got the regular dirt's not bad. But you get that red clay and you got the pressure wash and it's 30 degrees outside. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, Chewy always tried to get us to, but I just couldn't take a chance. I didn't want to go somewhere there's 100 cars trying to make a 25 lap or 25 car field, and be that guy and we'll have to pull back home and I didn't get to race. So
Well,
that kind of took the wind out of my sail for doing that.
well, the dirt world will humble you. It will definitely humble you. It's funny. We got a couple of kids that I do work for, and they race. Well, I still call them dromers, but the Fords at the Sportsdrome. And I said, "Oh, you guys are in the participation division." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You guys got 75 cars, and everybody gets to race." Well, yeah. I'm like, "No, where I come from, you got 75 cars, 20 of them race." What do you mean? I said, those other 55 don't get shit.
Yeah.
They go home.
Go home with their head hanging down.
Yeah. So, I said, I called him and said, you guys are in the participation world there. Is there anything, I know you say you don't go to the races anymore. Is there, do you ever see because I think you would be like a really good tech man. You ever find yourself maybe wanting to go to the racetrack? Because, top secret should be able to tech race cars,
I'm sure probably could, but man, that makes some enemies, wouldn't it?
Well, nah. You'd be like my dad. My dad said he wouldn't mind being a tech man, but they'd have to put a lift up. He ain't crawling around on the floor no more.
Yeah, he'd laugh. He wouldn't care if somebody got mad.
Nah, my dad, I don't think my dad's got any enemies. I really don't.
No, with his attitude, he couldn't.
Yeah, he's the type of person to wreck at the intersection and go down and help that guy fix his car to wreck him again just because. Because somebody said something they shouldn't have said.
He's the only one I know that I've seen tear a car total to pieces, and he'd come in just laughing like nothing happened,
Well,
we'll build another one.
Yeah, it's funny you said we, because that's what it was. It was we building another one. My dad was like 6-pack before it was cool. I worked on so much shit when I was a kid, it wasn't even funny. But I wouldn't change it for the world, though.
No.
I got a funny story. This one time when I was probably 7 or 8, maybe 9. I said, Dad, I don't know how to weld. He said, okay, so there's a pile of stuff. I'm like, what? So you got a pile of all this old junky tore up, front horns,
shit that he's wrecked.
Yeah, tore up shit. So I'm trying to weld it. He come and smack it with a hammer, it fall on the floor and break in two. He goes, now here's the best part about welding, about fixing something that's away. Now you got to grind all that shit off and try again. And that's seriously how I learned, And my dad was not a hard ass by any means, but I remember sometimes thinking, what an asshole. Why would you? But it all worked out for the best. But
look where it's got you today.
Yeah, well, it's got me with my race car. My garage is full of race cars, and I'm behind in work. Same about like you. You've been a hell of a body guy. Look where it got you.
Yeah.
We got cars all around us here.
But it's job security.
Yeah, well, that's me.
I'm retired. Mine's just for fun, really. Well, it's for money, but it's just to do it because I enjoy it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask them. How much do you enjoy still getting out here and just working? Is it like peace of mind? You get mad at the damn fat referee, you didn't get up to court quick enough. Instead of whooping his ass, you can come out here and stand on the truck.
I just enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. I've been doing this since I was 18, on and off. I did it for probably 8 or 10 years when I was younger for a living, and then I started working on cars and then heavy equipment. But it's crazy as it sounds. I just like doing it.
Yeah.
I got a 17-year-old grandson. I'm trying to get him into it. And he won't have no part of it.
Yeah, well, here's me. I'll be honest. The metal work, I love doing. I don't even mind spreading the mud, but my allergies to dust, I can't. It drives me crazy.
For me, that's all that doing the body work stuff's not the bad part. It's the sanding and buffing after painting and polish. That's the worst part for me, but that's the part that's most important to make them shine.
Yeah. Well, my dad, he's a hell of a body guy too. He's like you, and I'm like you guys. I tell people all the time I'm hood taught. I learned right there in the neighborhood.
That one there is going to be a pretty cool one. It's got a Coyote motor. It's on an aftermarket chassis. It's all original metal right there. Everything except the bed's new metal. But.
Well, that's what I was saying when I was looking. People can't see this, but we can still talk about it. When I come in, that's the first thing I looked, because I made some cab corners for a bunch of that stuff, and I was like, this son of a bitch is solid as hell.
That's a 38, and it's actually in pretty good shape, really.
Yeah, there's a lot
of floorboard and firewall put in it, but That's a cab. All that shit's original.
Well, it's a lot better shape than my 35. That's why I built a rat rod. Well, I built a rat rod because I had a bunch of race car parts hanging around, and I told my dad, this is what we're going to build. So, yeah, I got a 35 Chevy rat rod truck on it.
Oh,
it's on an all-tube chassis, coilovers. It's about time. It's about 16 years old now, so it's about time to go through it and redo it all.
I can't believe I ain't never seen it.
Well, you've probably seen it running around. You've probably seen it running around. I know you've heard it if you've seen it. It's got. I did the headers, and every pipe is single. It comes out. They come out every direction. It pops and crackles. And Gene was going to kill me, so it's a funny story. So as I'm building the rat rod, I take old race car engine over to Gene. And I said, Gene, I want you to put a gear drive in it that winds, and I want a big cam. And Gene's like, I'm not doing that. I said, Gene, just do it. Well, it's not practical. I said, you see this damn truck I'm building? It's plenty practical, Gene. Trust me. I just want it to slap and make some noise. I'm not going to be racing it. So I get it all together, and I drive by and say, hey, Gene, check this out. He goes, the hell's that damn thing? I said, I told you it wasn't going to make a difference what you put in it. So do you see yourself in the future just hanging out in the garage and being Papaw? Is that what it's going to be? Or
that and probably travel. My wife retired in August, so yeah, I'll probably travel and do this here. I got my own car. I'm going to be able to, trying to.
Well, I'm looking around. You're going to build it about like me.
Yeah.
It's on the wait and see.
Well, I had plans to start on it in January, but we're a little behind.
Well, you didn't say which January.
Yeah, well, no, I meant this January.
Well, it's funny you said that. My dad's working on a Corvair, and put a frame under it and put a motor in the front, small block Chevy in it, and he's working on that. And I keep telling him, Dad, just bring it over. Let me do all the floor pans and all the metal work. And he keeps telling me, no, I'm gonna get to it. I've got the rear end up underneath there now. And a couple weeks ago, he said, hey, when you get those cars done, let me know. I think he's ready for me to put the floor and stuff in. He's like,
now he knows you can weld.
Yeah, well, yeah, he knows I can weld. That's something that we did a lot of. Before we get off here, the World 300, couple 2 hours. Is any race that sticks out the most that you was like, man, that was really cool? Or was it just, I'm so competitive, I want to win them all?
I would say the 300 lapper was pretty cool, because that was the first one. We went over on Friday. Car was pretty good. We knew the car was fast. So we got there early, and my little brother walked up. He said, let's go up here in the stands. And I said, there wasn't nobody even in the stands. I said, well, what the hell are we going in the stands for? So I'm going to show you something. So we go up there, and they had a 15-foot trophy up against a flag stand. I said, what do you want? He said, I just want to show you this trophy we're taking home. Him and Buddy Bertrese had talked about it. He knew they would come with a big one. I didn't know, I didn't worry about all that. So he said, I just want you to see this trophy we're taking home. Well, we had fast time on Friday night and won the qualifying thing, and then went back, and I think we led 270 something laps of the 300 and got free shoes for a year. Some little kids in the stand got free shoes for a year, $10 a lap. So that was a pretty cool one, I guess, and just to be the first one to do that, and it was fun, and we had a lot of good luck.
Yeah.
So then the next year, I brung out a brand new car that we thought was pretty fast, and Rance Harmon come up. He said, "Are you out of your mind?" I said, "No, why?" He said, "Why in the hell would you bring a new car out to this?" I said, "Well, it's pretty fast, but didn't get the job." Chris won that one.
Yeah. Was that the last one?
Or no, Raymond won that one.
Okay.
Then Chris won the last one.
Yeah, when Chris won the last one, I won the Bomber Figure 8 feature that night. I tell people this all the time. I said, it's kind of funny because, it's no secret. Chris and I are pretty good friends. We work together. We coach together. It's like, it's pretty neat. We both kind of won the last race in Louisville Speedway history. He won the one that meant the most, and I got to win the 20-lap Bomber race.
The one with the most money.
Yeah. So I was actually driving for David Pate that night. David messaged me or called my dad and said, "Hey, does Bobby want to drive his car? I got an extra car over here." And the funny thing about that was, so I get to the racetrack and I go out there and I practice. I come and tell my dad, I said, I think the rear end's going on this thing. He said, what do you mean? I said, man, when I turn left, it's clunking bad. So my dad, I don't think so. We jack it up. We check everything. You know, it's got a Ford rear end in it. We go back out there and it's clunk, 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 clunk. And I told my dad, I said, if the rear end's not going out, I mean, check the control arm. Something is making all kinds of racket. So my dad puts his arm on the cage and like bends down by the battery box and lift the cage up. The cage was broke off the frame. I was like, son of a bitch. So we went over to the welding truck and I had to do some welding on it. That's what David said. Damn, man, you really put it on him in the feature. I was afraid to get hit.
Yeah.
But it was funny, though.
Knocked out of it.
Yeah, I was afraid to get ran over. But, yeah, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, Jesus, I don't know if I need to be running this thing. This is only like my second figure 8 race ever.
Was it?
Yeah, because I was running street stock. You know, I was running the oval.
Did you race more figure 8 after Louisville?
Yeah. When Louisville closed, I went and the first year Louisville closed, I was going to run the Sportsdrome. Pretty much the oval and the 8 was my original plan because they were running the figure 8 last that year because they were trying to get guys to do both. So I was going to do that, but we went and ran some dirt a little bit, and actually Kurt, we got rained out at the Drome one night, and I was over talking to Kurt, and I was like, what are we going to do? He said, I'm going to, it was Kurt and Earl Riley. They said, we're going to Thunder Valley and race. I said, what's that? It's a dirt track up here. So I went up and ran dirt, and after that, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't want to run this no more. But I did run figure 8, for a couple years. I probably ran 10 to 12 races a year because I raced anything, dirt, pavement, oval, 8. It didn't make no difference.
Just anything to race.
Anything to race. You know, my dad told me it's probably the reason why my dad's health is the way it is. For about 3 years, I mean, I raced 70 nights one year, 89 one year, and I ran 104.
Wow, that's a lot of racing.
You know, it was a lot of racing, and my dad was wore out and tired, and it was too much. But it wasn't nothing for us to race, in Tennessee on a Friday night, and then drive, 3-4 hours, and then that next morning in Cracker Barrel's parking lot, change rear end gear for, all the shocks and springs, put, windshields in, windshields out, mount tires, dismount. So, I mean, I raced too much, really. Not too much to learn because, I mean, I had a couple really good years. But too much for guys that had regular jobs and wasn't rich people just racing. Let's put it that way.
But look at the memories you got and the fun you had.
But, man, we did. We had a lot of fun. And that's one thing I can say about you. I know how serious you was, but every time we run into each other, you're always smiling. You're always talking about, look at the fun that it was, all the memories made. So, as we're going to close off on this, I know you're not a super big fan of the Hitman name, so I'm going to change your nickname.
I guess I'm stuck with it.
Well, I mean, after 35 years, you would think, you would think you would. Well, I'm as a wrestling guy, I can understand why you don't like Bret Hart's nickname. You should have been the Macho Man.
Yeah, there you go.
See, that
probably didn't fit with racing though.
Well, Macho Man Brady Bacon is, sprint car racer. He sells so many T-shirts, it's unreal because of the Macho Man. He's got all the bright colors and everything. Stole his nickname. You should have done a black and pink race car and painted it all up like the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, actually we was black and pink, blue, black and pink.
Yeah, and purple.
And then it was purple, teal, and black, I think. Yeah. Yeah,
some of the. My Chevelle is black and purple. I don't know why it was black and purple, but I guess because your shit always just looked good. I said, you know what, that's going to work, But I really appreciate you coming on the show. And one thing that, the reason why we're doing this, we're doing the old racetrack segments. We're trying to, keep memories alive. And, that's one thing that I want to do, going forwards. We're going to do it once a month. And, right now it just seems to happen to be all figure 8 racers. But we've got a lot in store, going forwards. But, I really appreciate you coming on. And not only that, I appreciate you being a fan of the show and listening to the show.
Oh, yeah.
That means a lot to Kurt and I because I tell people this all the time. People that want to listen to us bullshit about racing, I don't really understand why, but I appreciate it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so, and you're not going to the races, so at least this way you can keep up with what's going on in the dirt world with us. I'm going to take you to the dirt races one night. I'm gonna not like you live too far away, so
no.
you can tell your wife you're out here working in the garage. You're good. She'll never even know. I'll get you home about 3 in the morning like normal.
That's all right. We'll go.
Yeah. But I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, hold on. I always do this before I get off. I almost forgot again. Is there anybody you want to thank over the years?
Oh, hell, of course, all my sponsors. Taylor's House Color, Deweese Tree Service, they're neither one of them no longer with us. Mike Mullins, Jefferson Special Police, your buddy, you know, he helped me for a long time. The guys that worked on car, my little brother Mike Anderson, Mark Jeffries, Rob Daly. Hell, we was just some kids trying to have fun, you know. I mean, I couldn't have done it without them and anybody that sponsored us, you know. My wife putting up with me. I still got my wife after 32 years of the racing, so that's a plus. But I couldn't have done it without them guys, you know. And I always said, you know, hell, like racing Louisville, you know, win this, that. And I always told anybody could drive that car. You know, I was just lucky guy got to drive it.
No, don't ever say that.
I mean, it just the cars was that good, you know. But okay. I was all me then.
Yeah. It was all the Hitman / Stone Cold / Macho Man. I said we could get off here, but hold on a second. The Cadillac Seville. What was the reason behind building that?
Because it was built for Brownstown or Bardstown.
Yeah.
Figure 8, dirt figure 8 is why I started building it. But it was a leaf spring car and same thing as a Camaro Clip.
Yeah.
Well, Raymond had built one for Louisville, and they outlawed it. So I was building one for Bardstown. Well, Bardstown closed before I got it done.
Okay.
So then we brung it to Louisville and didn't know enough about leaf springs at the time to get it to turn. And then, I let...
Is that the one Clary ended up with?
Jason Zender had it. He had it last, I think. He did end up running it on dirt on the oval, though.
Yeah.
But I think I sold it. I can't remember who bought it for me, but Pat Pierce drove it at Sportsdrome some. Raymond drove it at Whitesville a couple times. But we just never did get it to go good, you know. But we just didn't know enough about leaf springs at the time.
Well, that's because I've always wondered about that because I always thought that was a cool car, and then I know, you know, the Camaro aspect behind it, but that's how because there's been 4 or 5 guys that build those cars and they just don't work like the Camaros. I didn't know because it's basically the same thing with 2 more inches of wheelbase. I mean,
yeah. Actually, I think it was more of a Nova Clip than a Camaro, but it's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah. So, but yeah, I always wondered about that because I remember you guys. I always said it was your test and tune car. I'd see it a couple times, and then you wouldn't see it. And then you see it again, and then you wouldn't see it.
I was just playing with it. It'd get a bite, but it just wouldn't turn.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me ask you this, because at one time you had 4 or 5 cars, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 3 or 4 street stocks, and I had 2 outlaws at the time Louisville closed. And then nowhere to race them. And then I had the Cadillac, and then I had 4 street stocks. And then 4 street stocks and 2 outlaws. And then I had the Cadillac. G-Man, that's another one. You talk about young kids earlier, you know, growing up. G-Man, first race car was one of my race cars. He bought from me when he was 16. But then I just sold them off. And somebody bought the Buick. Oh, Greg Snyder bought the Buick. He come over here one day. I had it, and that's one we was running at the Drome at the time. We won championship at the Drome in 2001, and all the features at Sportsdrome, or all the big races at Sportsdrome that year, and all the big races at Whitesville that year.
Hold on, I got a question about that Buick though. This one's going to be like all my episodes. It's just going to go long because I got a question about that. I can cut out something else if we got to get it short. But did you ever put a Malibu rear post and deck on that? Because that thing would always look different. I know the ass end was cut down.
It was just cut off.
Okay, yeah.
No, that was a Buick. Actually, I never even liked that car. I traded out old outlaw chassis I had for that and another Impala, and that was done. I just wasn't crazy about that car, and it set, and then I finally put together and it come out, and hell, it was fast.
Well, that Buick itself is the reason why, still to this day, on every car that I built my own, that the front windshield was mudded in, the piece of metal in the front where everybody put pipe rivet in, because that Buick was mudded in, wasn't it?
No, I just had it all smooth. I put it in with like a regular windshield,
Yeah.
the rope, and had it flush with the roof.
Okay, I always thought it was mudded in. So,
Nah.
so still to this day, you know, I always tuck my shit and mud those in on that stuff that I did.
And even the Impalas I had in the car show, that's what I did. I just put them in with the regular windshield kit, and so they'd all be flush mounted with the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I always did it the hard way.
Well, you got the same finish though.
But yeah, that car. How many races do you think you won in that car?
Oh shoot, I don't know. It won a bunch. I won a hell of a lot of money with the last 3 street stock cars I had. Man, I don't know. It won a bunch.
Yeah, because
I didn't want to sell it. It was sitting up in that garage up on the house, and Greg Snyder come over here. He had called me wanting to borrow my tubing bender, and I really didn't want to loan it out. But so
still to this day, I got a leaking cylinder because I loaned mine out.
And so he come and knocked on the door, and I thought that's what he wanted. He said, "Can I talk to you?" He said, "This car for sale?" And I said, "No." He said, "Oh, everything's for sale for a price." I said, "Well, it ain't for sale." So he said, "Well, give me a number." And I shot him a price, and he tried to jimmy down. I said, "Look, it's that or nothing." As a matter of fact, I can't even, I owned everything, but I can't sell it without telling my little brother. So let me go call Mike. So I come back, told him, and he said, "Well, if I buy it, can I borrow your truck and trailer?" I said, "Damn." so he ended up buying the car, and I really didn't want to sell it, but I couldn't turn it down. So he had went to Jeff Roberts, and Jeff wouldn't sell his, and so he bought that one. But it was a good car, and I don't know if they ever won with it after that or not.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that on my, it seemed like 4,000-hour plane ride home earlier today. I was thinking about that because you ran that car for 3 years, right?
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. Because I was thinking, I bet that car had over 50 wins.
I'd say it did. I'd say it did. Because that car sat for a year done and never raced. It just sat in my garage at the old house, done, ready to race, and I never brung it out.
But you didn't even like it.
No. Well, I mean, I didn't like I say I didn't like it because I didn't like the cage in it. I didn't like the looks.
Yeah.
But I was just a freak. You know, it had the door bars was on it. Actually, I cut the passenger side door bars out and redid them because I wanted them all even instead of in and out. And that's why I didn't like about it. I added a bunch of bars to it. But it sat there done for a year. Then we brung it out and practiced it one time. And so then the next year at the 300 lapper, that's when I decided to race it. We had brung it out that Friday and practiced it, and it was pretty fast. So, but my old Impala was fast too, but it was just old.
It's just old, yeah. Well, now, see, I always do this. About halfway through, I start thinking about other shit. So, and somebody told me one time, "It's your show. You can talk as long as you want." I said, "Well, yeah."
We got all night.
I said, "Yeah, you're right. You know, hell, I can make it a 2-part show if I need to. It don't make a difference." Was you the first guy that turned the front fenders down?
Yep, believe so. Yep.
That's what I was thinking. Me and Chris were talking about this a few weeks ago. He said, because Chris said, "Yeah, I seen Tony had his front fenders turned down." I said, "I'm gonna turn mine down." And my dad said, "What the hell are you doing, boy?"
Because the headers just look so big. But there was a car at the fairgrounds that did that years ago, and that just dawned on me. And actually, did it on the back on the door. You know, I didn't turn the fenders. I just leaned the whole fender down and made my new gap on the door of the fender, back there, and it made the header go down closer to the bumper and just didn't look so big. And
well, see, that's
aerodynamic. That was aerodynamic before aerodynamics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Well, the funny thing was, because I remember, I think it was your, excuse me, I think it was one of your Impalas. It was at the car show, and I was over looking at it, and I'm thinking, what the hell? I kept looking, and I said, he's got to have the fenders cut. And then I looked at the radiator cradle, and I was like, I don't know how he did it. And then your hood was all bowed up in the middle, it had the big breather on it. I'm thinking, how in the hell did he do that? And I probably looked at that thing 10 hours that weekend.
Well, you should have told me. I'd have let you open it up and you look at it.
Well, yeah, that's well, I figured it out. I started doing the same thing when I started, hanging bodies. But what I did was I just slotted the bottom of the fenders and just pulled them back. That's basically the same thing. Yeah. That's basically what I did. But yeah, I was kept thinking, I was like, how in the hell did he do that? Because it was sitting there next to Buddy's car. Buddy's red flash car, and Buddy's cars, like, fenders are going up and yours are going up. I'm thinking, what the hell? Something's going on. Somebody's trying some shit here.
One of these are wrong.
Yeah, so you kind of were an innovator. Innovator in the look side of figure eight racing, for sure.
Yeah, I think we had on one of the cars, often imitated, never duplicated or something back then too. But I just like neat, just to look cool. And
you was the first figure eight car that I remember seeing swirl aluminum on.
Yeah, that was from old Huey Gart, old Camaro at the fairgrounds. Yeah, Butter's old car.
Yeah,
everything Huey did had that on.
Yeah, on the gauge panel on the dash.
Yep.
I swirled many aluminums on that. I say Harbor Freight drill press, the little one he had, but I don't think Harbor Freight was even open yet.
I don't think they was out.
Yeah, I think that was Ace Hardware drill press. The little one over in the corner, Huey had the notch cut in it where the aluminum would slide in there farther.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff come from what he did back a long time ago. But I just always liked neat cars. But I think I made Scott Toohey a lot of money though from painting these cars up, and people started paying him to put them in the car show and stuff. They was paying him more to paint the cars than I had in the whole car.
Well, see, you should have just started painting them yourself.
I did paint them.
Yeah.
I painted mine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, you should have started painting everybody else's.
Shit, I wouldn't have had time.
Yeah. Because I remember one year I already had that yellow car. They chopped the roof on and put all that pearl in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I was teasing. I said, damn, Artie, you trying to be like Tony now, huh? You got the sparkles. Artie's another guy that always had good looking race cars too. He always took pride in his stuff too. But yeah, I was like, damn, trying to be like Tony over there, aren't you? I always gave him shit. Yeah, but and here we go again. When you said DeWeese Tree Service, man, Joe DeWeese was another guy that helped me out through a friendship through David Pate. And David Pate's another person that's not with us that always helped me out. But I'll tell you one thing. Joe DeWeese was the biggest supporter of Hitman, Stone Cold, Macho Man, whatever nickname you want. Joe DeWeese, he was a major supporter. I'd always give him shit, get his goat a little bit. He said, "Yeah, Tony's gonna be fast tonight." I said, "Oh no, he ain't got nothing for whoever it was that week." I just mess with him. Chris, Raymond, Buck Scat. I just throw out names all the time, mess with him. He'd always be like, "What damn? I don't know why I even come over here."
Yeah, he was a good guy, man. And his dad was the greatest. And when we won that 300 lapper, he said, "Hell," he said, let me have that trophy. That'd fit in my kitchen. I'd never been in his house. He lived over, I can't think of the name of the subdivision, but it's over by Huey's.
Yeah.
But it was on over like Hot Rod Haven side, So I went over his house or something and walked in there, and I said, "Damn, that trophy would fit in here." But it come apart in two pieces. They made two before we left. But yeah, he helped me out tremendously. He was a great guy. And I had never seen the picture. He passed away, and we went to the funeral home, and they had a picture of me and him and that trophy at Louisville Speedway.
Yeah.
And I had never seen that picture when we raced at the time.
Speaking of pictures at Louisville Speedway, if you're ever just busy, you want to hang out with another body guy, right up to Rick Irwin's.
I need to go to Rick's. He tells me all the time to come up there.
I'm telling you, Rick has got like
the world that guy.
Rick was a childhood hero of mine. He was a guy that molded me. All those Edgewood guys. I'll throw out some names here of guys that helped me, molded me, that shouldn't have, but they did because they liked my dad. But Rick Irwin, Danny Blackwell, Troy Morrison. That whole group of I call them the Edgewood guys. They made sure this little kid made it out and was able to race. That was there was a lot of those guys. It's funny. I tell people this. I said, "Yeah, Rick He was there when I was born at the hospital. He changed my diapers because him and my dad were best friends. And when I built my first race car, he wouldn't even leather the damn thing. He said, "I'm too busy."
I always liked Rick. He was one of the nicest guys ever at the racetrack.
But you need to go by Rick's. He's got it's damn near a museum. It's about the size of this here, but he has so many pictures and racing memorabilia. It's really neat.
Yeah, I just gave him a bunch of my old plaques and jacket I won at Sportsdrome. I've been giving everything away. I still got a basement full of trophies, but giving Justin Davis a bunch of them. Justin got my old driving suit. And I gave Rick some other stuff. Most popular driver plaque, my second place plaque from Louisville in '94, the silver platter thing. And he keeps telling me to come up there,
you need to ride up there, especially because you were living in that moment, But he's got stuff from Charlestown and the fairgrounds. He had a whole photo album, probably 700 pictures of stuff from Charlestown in the '80s when it was a dirt track.
Really?
Stuff with old C.J. Rayburn, and just so much stuff that I could have stayed up at Rick's for 3 days. I was, I was like, damn. He's got
up there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff. You need to ride up there. It's one of those things that when you walk in, you just kind of walk in and you're like, that's some cool shit. And then once you start looking at everything, you're like, damn, this is a lot of cool shit. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. You ever been to Talladega to the museum down there?
Mm-mm. No.
They've got wrecked race cars, and they probably got 500 race cars in there. The ones that broke the speed records at Talladega and everything. But when you walk through there and you would enjoy it for a guy that does paint and body and fabricating. You look at the work of the 70s and 80s NASCARs and the ones that wrecked, and you see all their TIG welds, and a lot of these guys were welding this stuff together with coat hangers back in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's really
neat. You appreciate it more.
Yeah, it's really, there's a lot of people just walk right past that, and I see the inside roof post mudded in, welded into the cage and mudded in. I'm thinking, well, damn, that's slick.
That's kind of where I got doing the doors. Around the doors.
Yeah. On
the pallets, smoothing all that in and angling that there on the roof post and all around there, putting metal in that. Yeah,
well, I've got a Chevelle that I built. When I quit racing, I decided a few years later I was going to race again, so I built a Chevelle. I'll show you a picture off air. It's sitting in my mom's in her pole barn on jack stands. It's got 17 laps on the car, but it is a slick.
Was it a dirt car?
Well, it was going to be a CRA street stock car because my dad was tired of me going to the dirt track every weekend. But we went. We had motor problems. Pulled it out. Built a brand new motor. Had motor problems about 12 laps later. And I told my dad, you know what? I don't even like this shit this much to be working this hard. I'm good. So I think I'm going to take it and cut the door bars out of it, or the passenger side door bars. It's all decked in and make it a street rod, like a rat rod, letter it up like maybe Smokey Unix Chevelle or something.
Yeah, cool.
But it's
that was a piece.
Yeah, that was a piece. Well, this here it's got a Camaro nose, Camaro front bumper, lower nose, SS grill, hood's all mudded in. I even mudded in the drip edge for the rain on the side of the Chevelle. Yeah. It's all mudded in and smoothed in.
That'd be cool.
It's pretty slick little car. It's funny thing. I was at the car show and I was over taking a piss, and this guy goes, "You believe some idiot cut up a damn nice Chevelle?" And I said, "Hey, you walk over, I'll show you the idiot." It's my wife took pictures of all that. The roof posts were rusted off of it. The doors halfway up were gone. I made everything, but it turned out pretty good. It's a pretty slick little car. It's the black and purple one, so I guess subconsciously when I built it, I'm just gonna make it a Tony Anderson looking car because it had all the slick body work.
Bobby the Hitman Puckett.
Yeah, it was Bobby. Yeah, so I never had. Well, I did have a nickname, but they always call me like a little asshole or a little prick or something, So I won't keep you all night, but I just wanted to say from a fan's perspective, as a kid that grew up around racing, that grew up in figure eight racing, that. You can like more than one thing. I branched out and went to dirt racing, but I really appreciate what you did, the sacrifices you made. All of you guys, and like I said, that's the reason why we're doing this. because guys like you, Tony Conway. I mean, there's so many guys that, you know, that doesn't get their due diligence, and you know, I mean, you guys are racing for NASCAR championships.
Yeah.
I mean, you were racing for the Blue Ridge Championship. I mean, and that's cool as hell to think as a couple of South End boys running figure 8 for NASCAR money.
Yeah, we was getting checks from them.
Yeah. So, you know, I really appreciate that. I appreciate the effort, the time.
We go to the racetrack now, though. People probably don't even know who we are.
Well, see, that's another reason why I'm doing this. It's because I want to keep the memories alive. You know, you have people sit in the stands, and you know, Raymond still goes all the time because Matt races. So, you know, everybody loves Raymond. You know, everybody knows who Raymond is. But, you know, it's like, it's funny. Like, you know, Chris and I was talking. You know, his son Ben's racing, you know, all over the country running that dirt car, and we went to the Sportsdrome. I guess it was about 3 years ago, and you know, we're walking through the pits, and Chris goes, I guess I quit at the right time. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm looking around here. I don't know nobody. He said, hell, everybody's already quit. I'm the old guy. Yeah. So I was laughing. I said, yeah, Chris, you're the old guy now. So
I've been over there a couple of times to the Legends thing, you know, that Rick had me come over there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't get to go last year. I was at a ball game, I think.
Yeah, that's the racer reunion is a cool deal.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a real cool deal.
I know people in there.
Yeah. It's all the old guys. You know those guys. So going forwards, next weekend you're not going to find him traveling with me to Brownstown, Indiana. You're not going to find him going to Smoky Mountain Speedway. A, he's going to be out of the country, but B, if he wasn't, he's going to be at a ball game telling his granddaughter, hey, come on, you can't be the point guard if you're going to keep turning the ball over here.
Actually, she's playing in Tennessee next weekend. I'm going to miss that one. Her dad's supposed to take her to that one. It's a tournament down there, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
Enjoy the ride. I really appreciate.
She's in the house right now.
It is Saturday. I've been gone so long, I don't know what damn day it is. Yeah, I don't even have a clue anymore. It's just, it all runs together. When they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, that's bullshit. You bring home plenty of sleepiness.
Next time you go there, let me know. I'll go with you. I love Vegas.
We will definitely do that. Hell, we took 9 people with us this week. Yeah. Last week it turned into a whole month. But
we went down there November, I think. There was about 12 of us go. We go every year or a couple of times a year. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I like Vegas. You need to do what we did this time. It was impromptu, but just a 4-hour drive to LA. Go down and check out the coast, all the beaches, and you know, rent a car for pretty reasonable. And hell, we went up and seen the sequoia trees, those big trees. Yeah,
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it was a little bit. That day was a little long because it's about 4.5 hours up there to Northern California. But, you know, we went up there, and once we got up there and did all the big trees and stuff, it was funny. When we started at the bottom of the hill, it was 70 degrees. We got to the top, there was 18 inches of snow, and it was 30 degrees.
It was all the same place.
Yeah, it's the same place, yeah.
Wow.
Where'd you seen the rocks at the bottom? That was the bottom. You went up almost 10,000 feet in elevation up this mountain, and that's where the trees are at the top.
Damn.
It was cool as hell. It really was. But like, I'm not a big, like, real big nature person. I mean, I like the scenery. I love, like, you know, the ocean, the coast, the mountain. But I'm not like, I'm gonna go hike and go do this stuff. You know, it's not me. I mean, I grew up in Edgewood. We walked everywhere, so my fat ass don't want to walk anymore than I have to.
Yeah, I don't like to walk.
Yeah,
but you can't get there in a car or a plane.
Yeah, but it was really cool, you know, doing that. I was Kurt, he told me, man, if you're up there, you got to do it. And I had, you know, I had a group that ranged in different age groups. Let's say that. You know, I had 20-year-olds with me, so we had to kind of make something, you know, happen for everybody. So that was a long day because I drove up there. We went and did that, and then I drove back to Vegas. So it was funny. We got back to Vegas, and it was like, hell, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And everybody's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, shit, I'm going. So we had to get up at 6 to come home. So I'm working on 24 hours right now. So, but no, hell yeah. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go to Vegas, and we'll go in you know, September or something, and I'll take you to a dirt race in California. We'll go to Northern California and watch where Kyle Larson and them grew up racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's plenty of dirt tracks in Northern California. It's
cool.
It's a sprint car hotbed. It's not quite Indiana. Central Indiana is there's a lot of good stuff in this area, but Northern California, there are some race car drivers that come out of there. Kyle Larson, Jeff Gordon, Brad Sweet, Corey Day. The list just keeps going on and on. Casey Kane, he's from Washington, but he's up in that area. But yeah, Northern California is pretty cool little place. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, thank you again for all the contributions you did. And even though you don't want the grandkids racing, we still appreciate what you did.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. There we go, guys. That was Tony Anderson. Really fun interview, and like I said, I want to thank Tony for being very, very accommodating. I got in off the plane and grabbed something to eat late last night, and basically just come home, grabbed my equipment, and went straight to his house. And Tony we hung out in his body shop there, and I'm sneezing my ass off because of all the Bondo dust, just like going to my dad's place. But yeah, no, Tony opened up a shop, beautiful shop there too. But Tony opened up a shop. We sit there and we bullshitted for about 3 hours total.
Yeah.
And I know you guys only got about an hour of it, but it was about a 3 hour just hangout bullshit session with one of the pioneers of the figure eight racing in the Louisville area. And one thing that we talked about was the competition, and because figure eight got a bad rap, about being a sideshow, and the competition for the figure eight division in that time was bar none.
Oh yeah,
some of the best racing in the country.
Yeah, I still say it is even now. I mean, yeah.
So it was a really fun trip. But to me, one thing about Tony that I really like is he transitioned from racer to having 5 race cars in his garage, racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to Papaw that just goes to basketball games and spends his weekends in the gym. He said he goes to the racetrack once a year, and that's to the Racers Reunion.
Oh yeah.
He don't even go to the races no more. So I told him I'm working to get him out to a dirt race because we'll change his mind. He said, well, that's what Huey always told me if I went dirt racing. And I asked him in an interview, I said, how come you never raced dirt? He said, well, I'll be honest with you. I was afraid of not going to the racetrack and they having 70, 80 cars and I not get to race.
Yeah.
He said, I needed that money to get back to the racetrack the next week. So it was really fun interview. Like I said, I appreciate Tony taking time out to do this. Because he's leaving the country next week to go on like a 10-day vacation, and he worked around our schedule, which is, if anybody knows anything about my schedule, it's crazy to say the least.
Yeah.
You guys just hear part of it. You don't even hear the all of it. So
that's the same way with me. So we're really lucky we get to do this together.
Kurt and I, a lot of people don't understand that this is not something that, first off, it's not our expertise. We're getting better at putting stuff up and making stuff work out. We're getting better each and every week, but we're still not really good at it. Yeah. We're just as shocked Monday morning as you guys are. Yeah. I'm like, damn, another one made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing about Tony Anderson's interview, and on mine and Kurt's behalf, the reason why we do this, I just want to put this out there. No rant today.
Yeah.
Which I did. We did have some people say they wanted a rant show. And I told them we'll just give it a little bit. We got one coming probably.
We'll get some stuff built up.
There's there's probably going to be one of those coming. But the reason why we do this is we want to keep the legends' names alive and shine light on new and upcoming guys and just the sport in general.
Yeah. We just want positive stuff. Try to mostly just
racers race, and that's what we do. Even though we're not at the racetrack anymore racing, Kurt still is occasionally.
Yeah, but not much. But every now and then.
We're still racers, and we still we go promote. Hell, I announce. I was just looking. I've got like 50 something races this year. that I've committed to. So I'm kind of banking on a couple rainouts because I'm not going to get to see very many sprint car races in person this year after May.
Right.
So all the USACs and Sprint Week will be good in Sprint Week.
Right.
But all the Indiana stuff, I do not need any bad weather in March and April for the sprint car stuff. All right, guys, I need absolutely racing gods. Do me a favor. If we're gonna have some rainouts, let's make it in June.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff in March.
We'll need rain by then anyway. We don't need any till then.
Yeah. So, but because I'm booked out. I've got a lot of late model and modified stuff on the schedule. Got a few sprint car things on the schedule, but not nowhere near as many as I want. So, which I'm not complaining. I love what I do, but yeah. So we're gonna keep bringing this out every week. Like I said, this is 22 weeks in a row. And it's been 22 chaotic weeks on our end.
It's not too bad because we didn't know we'd make it 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, we kind of thought, well, maybe if we get a second one, and then we figured once we get the equipment, we'll be good.
Yeah.
That just means it's more work.
Yeah.
Actually, without the equipment, it was kind of easy.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, though, we really do appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah.
We know we say this each and every week, but thank you. Help spread the word. Word of mouth is the best advertisement there is. So tell somebody about it. We've got a bunch of people that's reaching out that enjoy the show, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us, especially because we don't have no engineering degree, no software engineering degree. We have no speech classes.
No.
I say shit I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
But I piss people off when I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that goes into this. But as the Hitman once say, often imitated, never duplicated.
Yeah.
That came from Tony Anderson's mouth, and that's the way we are. We're just going to try to do this our best each and every week, and we appreciate you guys for listening.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Flash, before we get off here?
No, I can't. No, just
All right.
tell everybody to, like I said, just try to get the word out about us and
support your local racetrack.
And we'll try to keep doing this. Yeah, support your local racetrack for sure.
Yeah, because this weekend, if you're in the Louisville area, 40-minute drive up the road.
This is the week to do it.
Yeah, support your local race. We want everybody that says, especially the pavement people that listen.
Yeah.
Last week,
there ain't nothing going on this week, guys. Go to the racetrack.
Well, I don't know how many pavement people we had listening last week.
Yeah.
Because one more thing, for everybody that tuned in on the Joey Kramer interview and you came back this week, I appreciate it because 1,744 listens last week. So shout out to Rocket Man. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't even tell Kurt that yet.
Yeah, Rocket Man's a cool dude too.
Yeah. So 1,744. We're growing about 100 a week.
Yeah.
But to everybody that listened, thank you. We really do appreciate it, and support your local racetrack. For the paved guys, I was going to say a lot of people that listened last week may not have been really pavement fans, but for the paved people that say, "Hey, I really want to go check out this dirt race," and you guys are talking about this, and we're intrigued. The weather's going to be nice Saturday, 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Brownstown Speedway, easy parking, easy to get in. Great food.
Yeah, they got good food.
Yeah.
And there's good sit no matter where you sit, you can see good.
Yeah.
If you want to sit in a nostalgic area with the roof over you,
you can do that.
You can do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Brownstown Speedway is a really neat racetrack. I know we shit on it a little bit, but it's still it's kind of like home to us.
Yeah.
It's when it's good, it's really good.
That's a legend of a racetrack itself. I mean, just being able to go there.
Yeah, we get to nitpick Brownstown a little bit because it's 40 miles up the road.
Yeah. But we're going to be there when they're racing most of the time if we ain't got nothing else going on. So
yeah. So, guys, make the trip up this week to Brownstown. I promise you won't be disappointed. And if you've never seen super late models or dirt modifieds, and you're used to what's called modifieds around this area, you are in for a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But until next time, we'll be trading sliders.